everybody. This is Jeff Sutherland, and welcome to another edition of Jeff Star Talk. We're on the air, so make sure you tell that special friend. Hey, the camera crew and myself is in Wilcox, Arizona, on location for the 57th annual Rex Island Days. And we're having a great time in this beautiful state of Arizona. And a lot of the celebrities are here, including some of the best cast members of a long-running TV series. I say that because Bobby Hoyer kicked me. The long-running TV series High Chaparral, one of my favorite all-time classic show that ran many years on the network. And Bobby Hoyer is my guest. And Bobby, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Jeff. My pleasure.
Bob, you know, when I just say High Chaparral, and that's a great Western TV series, that's cutting you short because you did so much body of work before and after High Chaparral. Let's begin with Bobby. Where are you originally from?
I'm from New York originally, yeah.
Did you always wanted to be an actor?
No, not really. I was 17, I joined the Marine Corps, and then the war was over, World War II, and I knew some ex-Marines that were in the show business before, stuntmen, and they kind of took me along with them when we got discharged together, and that's how I got in the game.
Oh, I tell you, and we're all thankful you did, because you did. Now, Bobby, when you first started out after the Marines and get into show business, you did a lot of stunt work.
Yes, I did stunt work. In 1949 was my first stunt work on a picture called Ambush. Mm-hmm. Was directed by Sam Wood, a fine and a large director in his own right in that era. It was with Robert Taylor, John Hodiak. These are actors that maybe some of the people don't know of, but of course you'd know Robert Taylor, who was a personal friend and also a tremendous actor and a hell of a horseman.
You know, and he is one good-looking rascal, Robert Taylor. I remember it. And you know, and he was the love life of Barbara Stanwyck. She had a great marriage with him for a long time, was he a nice guy to work with?
He was the best guy to work with, the best guy, one of the best, and he was what is known as a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Nothing he ever did wrong. Today, to become a star, it seems you have to do something or end up in jail or rehab or something like that, and you get all the press. The good guys who are there today don't get much press. Of course, they don't get negative press, thank God. But there are a lot of good guys in Hollywood.
Now, I know. I looked at some of the stars that you worked with, Bobby, and I'll tell you, it's like who's who in Hollywood. You had so many stories of so many different actors.
Oh, yes, and the actors, you know, Marlene Dietrich was one of them, and I'd worked twice with her. And she was a professional. You know, these are the people that go to work. All it is an 8 to 5 job, yep, in essence. And everyone goes to work, and there's no fanfare on the set, and there's no pecking order, really.
Sure.
But so many great actors from that old era and the new era, you know. Bruce Willis, who I think is a fine actor. He can do comedy, he can do straight, heavy stuff, and he's pretty athletic himself. And these guys don't get the bad negative reviews, which press as you get, and some of them get, these kids, you know.
True. And he is a kind of a physical guy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is, and he's a good guy, and politically I like what he thinks too.
Well, you know, there's a lot of fans who are, a lot of celebrities who are fans of other celebrities. Did you have any one that you looked up to when you went to the kid shows, the shows before you joined the Marines, something like you would go to the matinees as a kid growing up?
Oh, yeah, it was Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and also Bob Steele, who I got to know, did a picture with years later, and we became very close friends.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and he was he actually was the epitome of an actor that could do stunts, because he did a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, he was very physical, too.
Yes, he was. Mm-hmm. Yes, he was, and he was a good guy, and too bad we had to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, he worked, some of the TV fans remember him, because he did so much stuff. Oh. But I will mention this because some of the TV fans from different generations will remember him from F Troop. He played Duffy.
Right, and the story on that is the lead in F Troop,
Forrest Tucker.
Forrest said, and I want Bob Steele, and they said, we don't want him. He's an old man, and he's an old actor. And no one. He says, well, that's okay, then you don't get me either.
Good. That's good.
So these are the good guys.
Yeah.
And
Forrest, that sounds like something Forrest Tucker would say.
Well, fine with me, but you don't get me either. And Bob had a nice career, and I talked to Bob. I said, you're the only actor that came out of the silence to the talkies to black and white to color, to features, to television. He was up for an Academy Award in Of Mice and Men, if you recall.
And I love him in that.
Yes, he was excellent, and he played those great heavies at Warner's, with Bogart and what have you.
Yep. And he played Curly in, I think, in Mice and Men.
That's
and
right.
And the fist fight that he got in with Lon Chaney. Well, Lon Chaney wouldn't hit him until the end,
Right.
where Burgess Meredith hit him, you know.
Right.
Now, you worked with some of the other television. I looked up all your credits, and geez, it goes on for pages. But you also did a lot of TV episodes also.
Yeah, I was David Jansen's. I doubled David in that first TV series called Richard Diamond, Private Detective.
That's correct, yeah.
And we became very close friends in those days. And so many guys, Charlie Bronson, I doubled him, his name was Charlie Bushinsky.
That's true.
And he's done a fine actor.
Yeah.
A different type guy than an actor than a lot of them, you know. And I worked with Larry Olivier before he was Sir Lawrence in Spartacus and got to know him. And learned a lot from these guys, you know. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was kind of sitting on the set and looking depressed, and Olivier came up to me. He says, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Robert?" And I said, "Well, nothing's happening, whatever." He says, "Let me tell you something. It is better to be on the lot and do what you're doing here than to be off the lot, pumping petrol, trying to get on the lot."
That's,
So that made so much. That made so much sense. I said, "Thank you." Larry, I called him Larry, not Sir Lawrence. He wasn't a sir then.
Wow.
But I worked with all those British actors
You sure did.
in that, and in Tobruk and Nigel Green, who was great in the Ipcris files.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And you did some, I think you did some Y50s, and did you do
Y50s.
some Rockfords too?
I did Rockford's
Yeah.
with Jim.
Yeah, you did a lot
Great
of stuff.
guy.
And now, let's get back to, before we get into the High Chaparral, which is one of my all-time favorites. You worked with several movies with Clint Eastwood, and Clint was quite to work with, huh?
Clinton was great. We go back to Revenge of the Creature at the Deep Lagoon, or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
right.
And then we go from there, we go to Francis joins the Navy, then Lafayette Esquadrille, and then Clint's career started to pick up. He got that TV series.
Rawhide.
He played Rowdy Yates, and then he went to Italy and started that, and that's what did his career. And
Yeah, it made him an international star, right?
and he's never changed.
Yeah, now over there, and then after that, he made, after the spaghetti movies we call it, the Italian Westerns, he made Dirty Harry, and you were one of the Dirty Harry movies. I think the fourth one called The Enforcer.
Exactly. Yeah, I played the guy in the whorehouse. Pardon the expression. Story-wise, I'm quoting the massage parlor, as they put in the film, and I was the attorney, and also. Anyway, Clint stuck my head in the toilet and after the fight and after.
Was that you? I remember
That was me, yeah.
And then the plunger, too.
Yeah, right. He got me with the plunger.
And then you was also in Bronco Billy.
Yeah, that's right, Bronco Billy. Yeah.
And then I think another Clint Eastwood, the Outlaw Josie Wells, which is
That's
one
right.
of Clint. I talked to Clint at the golf tournament, AT&T, and he says that's one of his favorite movies.
It is, and it's got its own following now, and it's going to be a classic. And Clint called me and said, "I want you to do the part of the Texas Ranger at the end of the movie." I said, "Okay, pal." And it turned out pretty good because I was with all the actors, Johnny Vernon, Clint, and everyone asked me now, people that saw the show, said, when you walked out and went by the bar and you looked at Vernon and you looked at Eastwood and you stopped and you said, "Nice meeting you, Mr. Wilson. Did you know it was Clint, that it was Josie Wells, or didn't you know it was Josie?"
Right.
So I let him keep guessing.
Good. That's good. That's good. And like he did in High Plains Drifter, was it a ghost or was it not a ghost? Or he let the audience guess that.
Right, right.
Now on some of the movies that you did with Clint Eastwood, before that, you did a classic Western on TV called High Chaparral, and you were a regular on that. And how that all come about as being a regular?
It became the David Dortort, the producer of Bonanza, and also putting Chaparral together. And David is still alive, God rest his, help him to his latter days.
Right.
His wife had just died, Rose. I got a call from the casting director who I happened to know. And he said, "Look, Bobby, you working?" I said, "I just finished the Bonanza." He says, "Well, they want to," I'm not supposed to tell you this, but Dortort saw what you did and he wanted to give you something more on this show. So I said, okay. So I did whatever little part it was. Oh, it was with Charlie Bronson. We were the heavies.